beat everyone here. I did it. I don't know if I start talking mid-sentence or what. But I think I beat everyone here. Oh, Mike? Yep, pointed at me. I'm here way too early. So I'm just gonna read ahead a little bit. Nice. Shit is about to get real. Hello! I forgot to tweet that I went live. Huh, whoops. I'm consistent. Whoops. We're live. LOL. Ha 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 ha. It's charming. I'm a manic pixie dream falcon of the world. Hey! So, for some reason I put on a lipstick and it was just like, whoosh, you look like your mother now. And I put on all different wigs and it's like, oh, but she dyed her hair different colours. You don't get out of it that easy. I'm like, but she never wore it long. To me, long ginger. Long ginger had my back. It's still a little bit spooky. But I can cope with this little spookiness. How are you guys? How's your day going? Oh, I got my consents done. Probably shouldn't go into heaps of medical detail on the stream, but seems to be all G. Ooh. Fancy glass. I forgot I was doing this. Yes, they sorted it all out for me, but didn't email me. I had to find out from the actual clinic. Oh, good. Is she feeling better? Oh, it's pink. Look at that. You can't see it. You will soon. It's poison. Yeah, Holly must be feeling so much better. Recovering from the betrayal, yeah. Now we're doing the double betrayal. The book. The book of the film. Good. Fitz woke me up to let him out this morning, about 4 o'clock, but he woke me by giving me a really big cuddle. It was like, oh, that's not how you usually wake me. I love you. No, this is Rockstar energy drink. God, I wish I had some Code Red. No, I don't. No, I don't. Shit is insidious. Oh, I wish I had some. There's something wrong with Code Red. It gets into your spine. Ooh. Yeah. Like, I know, it was a secret and now it's a betrayal. I'm sorry. Please don't burn me. So we're gonna just bullshit for a little bit. Until we have a monkey paw curls. We're gonna bullshit until we have a quincunx. Is that what they call it? When there's 5 people? It's like a quorum, but there's 5. I honestly don't know. I don't even know where that word came from in my head. Oh yeah, everything is less evil than Code Red. Your first sip of it, you're like, oh, this is disgusting. Why would anyone? And then you have a second sip and you're like, yeah, it's still awful. And then suddenly, you're like, wow, Code Red. And everyone you trick into also drinking it is just like, code red. You just know. Anyway, this is my reward for going to the supermarket. I came back with cat food that they like. So they're not being, performatively hungry. They had food the whole time, it's just not their favourite food. Anyway, we've got 3 viewers at the moment, according to this, or 4, or however many. Should be able to start pretty soon. It's a socially transmitted... I wouldn't call it an addiction. That's too far. It's a thing you indulge yourself in way too much. It's a flavour of Mountain Dew. On a prosaic level, but... on a more powerful level... numbers are witchcraft, yeah. On a more powerful level, code red is... it'll make you pretty sick if you drink too much of it, and it's so easy to drink too much of it. Now it's saying there are 2 people, so I don't know. I'm probably just gonna start soonish. Good thing about these books is that it's really easy to bring people up to speed about them. Like, you're just like, oh yeah, no, that guy's head exploded. And an old man's head came out from underneath it, and the girl saw the head explode, and she was like, ah, now she's insane. Exactly. Oh god, please don't spill. Please don't let me spill this. I might spill it. It's quite exciting. I'll just retweet the link, but who cares? Alright, so Simon Fear, now spelling his name F-E-A-R, you guys know all this. He's come to New Orleans, he wants to meet some rich young ladies, but his eye's been caught by the wealthy and beautiful Angelica Pierce. And Angelica Pierce's eye has also been caught by Simon Fear, and she's like, yeah, far, I'm gonna marry him. And he stalked her into the garden. He's like, you're going to marry me, and she's like, yeah. And he runs away into the night. So it's all great so far. But then, at the end of chapter 3, somebody grabs Simon from behind. People are always just grabbing people in these books. It's terrifying. Chapter 4. Hi! Oh my god, he's just like friggin' Mr. Grey. I call 50 Shades of Grey, I call him Mr. Grey because I think it's funny. Chapter 4. Simon tried to cry out, but the pressure against his throat made him gag. It took a few seconds to realize it was the blade of a knife pressed against his neck. I'll be taking your purse, a raspy voice whispered close to his ear. Let go of my purse, I don't know you. So close Simon could smell the whiskey on his attacker's breath. Or I'll be cutting your throat. It's a pirate, I think. Simon croaked out a helpless protest. A fine gentleman like you doesn't want his throat cut, the man rasped. Does he? Then the attacker eased back the knife, just enough to allow Simon to speak. I'll pay you, Simon managed to choke out. I cannot die on this lonely, dark street, Simon thought, his legs trembling, his heart thudding loudly. I can't die now. I have just met Angelica. I have but little money, Simon said in a trembling voice, but I will give it all to you. Yeah, I was wondering about that. I'm thinking maybe the thief is holding it backwards or something. Like, or maybe it's a stick. You know, he has to trick a fear. It's not hard. Yes, you will, and quickly, the thief ordered. He loosened his hard grip on Simon, then gave him a hard shove in the back. Oh, everyone's hard. Startled, Simon cried out and stumbled to his knees on the hard cobblestones. Oh, it's all hard. He glanced up to see his attacker, a dark-haired young man with a red bandana tied across his forehead. What? He was swaying drunkenly, squinting hard at Simon. What are you looking at? He rasped angrily at Simon. Your purse, or I'll cut you now. He waved the knife. I'm getting it, Simon stammered. He's very brave when he's threatening a girl alone in a garden, but not so much now. As he pushed his cape out of the way, a stud fell out of his shirt front, and Simon's silver pendant dropped into view. Do you remember? Do you remember the pendant? Simon never removed the pendant since his sister Elizabeth had given it to him back home in Wickham 2 years before. With its 3 silver claws and mysterious blue jewels, the disc-shaped pendant had been in the Fear family for generations. A strange old fortune teller. No one ever said she was a fortune teller until now. A strange old fortune teller named Aggie had told him all about the pendant and its powers. But Simon had resisted using it. He had no use for evil magic. Climbing to his feet, Simon quickly grabbed the chain and started to tuck the pendant back into his dress shirt. But the thief had spotted it. He raised his knife menacingly, the long blade gleaming in the moonlight. Do not try to hide the silver coin, mate, the man growled. He stretched out his free hand. I will take it too. It is not a coin, Simon protested. Hi, Phil. Good to see you here. It is a family memento, worthless to anyone except me. It's made of silver, dude, come on. Give it up, the thief shouted impatiently. Simon reluctantly stepped forward. Holding the silver disc tightly in one hand, he struggled to remove the slender chain from around his neck. The silver disc felt warm in his hand and vibrated as he gripped it. Oh, that's why Elizabeth liked it. A gust of wind blew down the street, fluttering Simon's cape. He reached to hand the pendant to the thief. But instead of dropping it, Simon suddenly shoved the disc hard into the man's face. The 4 dark jewels dug into his cheek. The thief cried out, more startled than hurt. Ah! Hey! You'd die for that, he cried, brandishing the knife. Still gripping the silver pendant, Simon jumped back. Dark blood trickled down the man's cheek from small puncture holes. With an angry snarl, he came at Simon. Simon starts clapping. Yeah, I love this city. Can you imagine how stupid that would have looked? Like, Simon picks up this necklace and just like goes, ugh, into the guy's face. He's like, I don't know what I thought that would do. But, with an angry snarl, he came at Simon. Simon dodged the knife. The thief swayed, squinting hard, trying to keep his balance, cursing under his breath. Oh, motherfucker, Jesus fucking Christ. He leapt forward again, forcing Simon back against a building wall, as opposed to the other walls. A pleased grin slowly formed on the man's face as he realized he had Simon trapped. He stepped forward, watching Simon's helpless attempts to move away from the wall. Hey, Josh. Simon is being mugged. However, he shoved the famous fear pendant into the guy's face, and it appeared to do nothing. But the thief stepped forward, watching Simon's helpless attempts to move away from the wall, and then he stopped. A howl of pain escaped his lips. Ugh! He let the knife drop to the floor and grabbed the sides of his face with both hands. Help me! My face! It's on fire! He screamed. Even in the pale moonlight, Simon could see the man's face darken, as if badly sunburned. Help me! The man shrieked. Oh, please! His back pressed against the wall. Simon stared in helpless horror as the man's face darkened more, then blistered. Oh, jeez, I need my red flag, I guess. I'll do. It's so gross, but it's dumb. The man's face darkened more, then blistered. The blisters popped open and began to seep. The man's eyes rolled around, his hands flailed. His shrieks faded to whimpers as the blistered skin burned away. Chunks of skin melted off, revealing grey bone underneath. Gasping in agony, the man continued to whimper until no skin remained. A grey skull, locked in a hideous grin of horror, stared pitifully at Simon. And then the body crumpled to the ground. This is a pretty rad thing to read for like an 8-year-old, you know? However old I was, it keeps changing because I keep forgetting what year this was. His chest heaving, the blood throbbing in his temples, Simon swallowed hard, forcing back his horror at the gruesome sight. The power of Grayskull, indeed. I am Fear Man. Stupid. And then the body crumpled to the ground. Wait, no. Yeah, no, we went before that. Then, he carefully slipped the chain around his neck and tucked the ancient pendant under his dress shirt. I have used the power of the ancient amulet, he realized. Detective Simon. The Fear family has long had powers it has used for evil, powers it has used for so many generations in its battle against the goods. Dominatio per malum. Those were the Latin words engraved on the back of the silver disc. Power through evil. Simon had long resisted the evil power of the Fear family. He had vowed never to use the ancient power of the pendant. The Good family had been defeated. The centuries-old feud between the Goods and the Fears was over. Aggie, the fortune-teller, had told Simon his family would end in fire. The family name had been Fear then, F-I-E-R. Rearrange the letters in Fear and you've got fire, the old woman had exclaimed. Simon was determined that this prediction would never come true. So he changed his name from Fear to Fear. You know. He wore the ancient evil pendant, but never used it. Until this dark Mardi Gras night. Yeah, he's only actively evil at this point. Like, before this, he was just stalking a woman, which, you know, back in the 1840s was, like, on the least horrifying thing that you could be doing in New Orleans, I guess. Still bad. Wild thoughts raced... let's not debate that. Wild thoughts raced through Simon's mind as he stared down at the dead figure crumpled at his feet. I have the powers of the Fears, he realized. He's always realizing things. I have the power to get what I want. And what do I want most in the world? I want Angelica Pierce. Beautiful Angelica! 2 obstacles stand in my path, Simon thought excitedly. 2 obstacles. The 2 young men I saw dancing with her. Simon Fury, ancestor to Guy, sends a man to Flavortown. He vowed he would never send anyone to Flavortown. Until this dark, Mardi Gras night, Cajun Black and enemy. Oh, I wish I knew more about, like, any of this to make jokes back. I don't. It should be easy to get them out of my way, he decided, feeling the warmth of the pendant against his chest. Turning evil immediately. The two young men have wealth and breeding, but I am a Fear. And what good are wealth and breeding if you are dead? Last few words are in italics. Having decided on his course of action, Simon swept his cape around himself. Then, stepping over the thief's body, he started toward home, humming happily to himself. Oh. Flora. I thought that was her. Nope. Yeah, but now he's using the evil power, so it's fucking anything goes, I guess. Chapter 5. Oh yeah, for sure. Just checking this isn't... I wear it a little bit back because the fringe is way too long, but then it becomes unstable. Anyway, I don't want to trim the fringe because it's my favourite wig. I don't want to ruin it. Chapter 5.
Far, I love being up so high,
Angelica told her cousin.
You can see bloody everything from up here.
You can see everyone come in, Liza agreed, peering down at the orchestra seats through the ivory-plated opera glasses. You can spy on everyone and gossip about them, and no one can hear you. They can hear Angelica. Angelica laughed and tried to snatch the opera glasses from her cousin. James Daumier tugged at his cravat and shook his head disapprovingly. The opera house is a place for beautiful music. Surely you do not come here to gossip.
Far, look at that scarlet cape Margaret Fletcher's wearing,
Angelica exclaimed, ignoring James's comment.
Looks like something she should wear to the bloody Mardi Gras parade.
The colour scarlet becomes Margaret Fletcher. She should wear it always, Liza said cattily. Is she referring to the scarlet letter or something? I don't know. James turned to Angelica. She could feel his silvery grey eyes studying her. Angelica, you look beautiful tonight.
Oh, James, you're so bloody sweet,
Angelica replied. She squeezed his hand, but her attention was on the crowd filing into their seats in the orchestra below. Real spice. No, we'll go down a terrible, terrible rabbit hole of puns. Welcome to Fed House. Nope, that's the only one. James leaned close. Maybe someday you and I shall have an opera box of our own, he whispered.
Bloody hell, James, what on earth for?
Angelica declared.
We can always use fathers. He fucking hates the opera.
I meant, James started, but stopped. Out of the corner of her eye, Angelica saw his face go red. Oh, there you are, you little fucker. Flora? Oh, it's so weird. I've been hearing the owls at the door. I think it's Niobe's ghost. I've been hearing the owls for months. Or I'm going mental. That's, very much on the table. I mean, I wouldn't rule that out. I would never rule out that it's a Horcrux for an ancient fear soul. It just makes you murder everybody, like... When all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, but murder.
Why's James so bloody serious tonight?
Angelica wondered.
Is he getting ready to propose to me? Is that why he feels nervous and uncomfortable? Or is his cravat too tight? And if he does propose to me, what's going to be my bloody reply?
Angelica asked herself. She pulled up her long, lacy white gloves and turned back to her cousin.
Hey, Liza, who are you looking at?
That young man from Biloxi, Liza replied without lowering the opera glasses. The tall one with the charming smile and those devilish blue eyes. Remember, Angelica? You promised to introduce us. Do you mean Bradford Dews? James asked Liza. You wouldn't like him. He's not your type. He's witty and charming. What? Liza's mouth dropped open in mock outrage. James fucked Bradford, guaranteed. James and Angelica laughed. I do not find your sense of humour at all amusing, Liza said, making a sour face. I know you well, James continued. You like the strong, silent type. I would like you better if you were silent, Liza declared. She thinks she's flirting with him. Bless her. Yeah, fuck J.K. Rowling. I like the Harry Potter books. They got me through some hard times. But, death of the author. Fuck her. It's not a death threat, obviously. It's a concept. We all know this. It means we take the works in isolation from the person. I cannot believe I have to say shit like that. Angelica leaned over the velvet-covered railing to watch the people below. Rows of gaslights flickered brightly along the wall. The orchestra tuned up in the wide pit beneath the shimmering royal blue curtain. Dark uniformed ushers led the lavishly dressed opera patrons to their seats. I find a better red flag thing than a red wig that matches the one I'm wearing. I'll hold up my knitting. It's got pink on it. It's a scarf for Danny, and I have not made a lot of progress. I mean, pretty much, yeah. 2 weeks had passed since Angelica's ball. 2 weeks of non-stop celebration and Mardi Gras parties.
One party with James, and then one party with bloody Hamilton, she thought. Then one party with... Oh, wait, that's not her. Then one party with both of them competing for her attention, for her smiles.
James and Hamilton. Hamilton and James. Who will it be? The question troubled Angelica, lingered in her mind like a headache that refused to go away. A thought, a strange idea. On 2 occasions, that strange, dark-eyed young man, Simon Fear, had come to call on her at her house. The first time she ordered the servants to send him away. The second time she agreed to see him, but made sure that Liza was in the room. Simon had burst into the sitting room eagerly, a triumphant smile on his handsome face, as if being admitted to the house were an important victory for him. He strode confidently up to Angelica, took her hand and kissed it. Angelica heard Liza gasp. I gasped before I read that, shocked by the young man's bold behaviour. And then he fingered her, and she was like, but he fingered Liza too, so it was all good. The visit had been a short one since there was no adult available to chaperone. Angelica introduced Simon to her cousin. Simon greeted Liza warmly, then ignored her, rudely staring the whole while into Angelica's eyes.
Nice in here, indoors.
Yeah, exactly. Books and magazines, and evil talismans. Yeah, that's the cover I had. Well, still have somewhere, storage. As they talked of the weather and the Mardi Gras and other acceptable topics, Angelica remembered their brief but heated conversation that night in the garden. You will be my wife, Simon had told her 2 chapters ago. Every time the words repeated in her mind, every time she thought of his intense dark eyes and the confidence, the arrogant confidence in his voice, Angelica felt a chill of excitement and fright. I know, everyone should just try having sex and then see what that does. It'll either solve everything or it'll make everything a lot worse. I mean, it's worth a go. When Simon had left, Liza tossed back her head and laughed. Ha 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 ha. What an absurd young man, she declared scornfully. Did you see the way he looked at you?
He's got lovely bloody eyes,
Angelica replied.
Can't wait to finger him.
Liza cut her laughter short, her expression suddenly serious. Angelica, you cannot possibly be thinking about Simon Fear. Your father would have a fit if he knew you allowed Simon in this house. He would have the boy horsewhipped and sent back north to his home. Your father would never approve of Simon Fear, and neither should you. Oh, right, yeah, that makes sense. That's the 100 Years of Peace. It was when they were all just like, fucking, they didn't know the story or anything. The amulet was buried. That makes sense. Liza's words brought a smile to Angelica's face.
I don't approve of him,
she told Liza.
I don't approve of him at all.
Meanwhile, we were at a flashback, but now we've come back to the present. The orchestra stopped tuning up and fell silent. The gaslights were dimmed. The Pierce family box was near the stage, high above the orchestra. It was the perfect place to see and to be seen, which in Angelica's mind was the main reason to attend the opera. James smiled at her. It's about to begin. You and your cousin will have to stop gossiping for a while. Oh, good heavens!
Look who is here, Liza exclaimed. She handed the opera glasses to Angelica, and then pointed below them. Yeah, who is it? Angelica asked, raising the glasses to her eyes. Oh! Angelica uttered a soft cry of surprise, as in the dimming light she spotted Simon Fear. He was in a seat beneath her box, staring up at her. Oh yeah, we are still in a flashback. This is good writing. Realizing that her glasses were trained on him, Simon smiled wide and waved up at her. Angelica lowered the glasses and sank back in her seat. Such fucking arrogance! Liza tossed her head. The opera is supposed to be for society people, she said snootily. Who is it? James asked Liza. Have you found yourself another young man from Biloxi? No, it's just someone I know, Angelica replied. Something about Angelica's tone of voice roused James's curiosity. And only that. Someone you know. A boy? He leaned forward and peered down, his hands on the railing. Oh, James, the opera's about to begin. He's staring right up her skirt. She knows. She reached out to pull him back. But red flag's going up. Oh, there's blue on it as well. Red flag's going up. I don't even know if I need this. But, you know, safe than sorry, or whatever. She reached out to pull him back, but to her surprise, James rose to his feet, still leaning over the railing. Oh, James! What on earth? Angelica whispered, still several times louder than everyone else there. James turned to her, his silver grey eyes wide in an expression of terror. His hands came off the railing. They rose stiffly in front of him, and he turned and started climbing onto the box railing. James, come down! Liza shrieked. James, get off there! James balanced awkwardly on the balcony railing for a moment, his mouth open in a silent scream. His arms began thrashing wildly at his sides. His legs trembled. Oi, James, you're gonna fall! Angelica cried. She grabbed for him with both hands. Too late. Without uttering a sound, he toppled over the rail. James! James! Angelica shrieked, her arms still outstretched. She called his name again and again, not believing her eyes. Oh, there's no gore here. Not believing that he was gone. Not believing the empty space beside her. And then her high-pitched screams blended in with the other startled cries and shrieks of horror that filled the darkened hall. James knew it was polite to go down, but he didn't really understand. Chapter 6. Get on my box. Don't stop looking up at it. Simon watched the body plunge from the box. It hit with an echoing thud in the aisle. Then, as horrified screams rose up in the darkness, Simon touched the silver pendant under his dress shirt and quickly made his way to the aisle. A few moments later, he entered the private box to find Angelica and her cousin comforting each other, their tear-stained faces filled with disbelief. Liza's shoulders heaved as she sobbed. Her face was buried in her gloved hands. Angelica looked up, startled to see Simon. She brushed away the tears from under her eyes. I am so sorry for you, Angelica, Simon said softly, his dark eyes locked sympathetically on hers. So sorry. So sorry. Did you see him fall? Angelica asked Simon. Is James alive? Far, I can't even look. Simon lowered his head sadly. I am so sorry, Angelica. Your friend is dead. No! Angelica uttered a wail of horror. He fell so far, so rapidly, Simon reported in a whisper. I saw him land on his head. I'm sure he died instantly. Angelica shuddered and shut her eyes. He did not jump! Simon heard Liza cry in a shrill, frightened voice. Why would James jump? Why did he climb onto the railing? If I can be of any help, Simon offered Angelica, his hand placed lightly on her trembling shoulder. Please know that you can always rely on me. Oh, okay. There's like a big paragraph break that's not reflected here in the text. So I'm like, wait, when did Angelica's dad get here? Okay, so later, Angelica leaned against her father and allowed him to lead her into the sitting room. As they walked, she pulled off her black bonnet and tossed it onto a chair. It was a good funeral, Henry Pierce said in his gruff rumble of a voice. He was a burly, red-faced man with a thick black moustache. I just have to think about the I think you should leave sketch about the hot dog car. If I was a big, burly man with a big, burly beard and mustache. Anyway. His appearance was as gruff as his voice. Until the horse pulling the hearse cart tossed a shoe. I cannot understand why they do not inspect these horses before a funeral starts. He's a little tongue-tied. Yeah, Angelica replied weakly. She made her way to the long couch and sat down. You look very pale, her father muttered, narrowing his blue eyes as he studied her. I wish you were stronger, Angelica. Yeah. You have stood up very well under this tragedy, he remarked, shaking his head sadly. He tisk-tisked, his moustache rolling up and down. Oh, sexy. James Daumier was a fine young man. Angelica sighed. She wished she could change her dress. The heavy black wool was hot and uncomfortable. Hamilton Scott will be a very suitable husband for you, Mr. Pierce said, striding to the window. I have spoken to his father, who approves the match wholeheartedly. Oh, Dad, please don't force me to think about marriage now. Not on the day of James's fucking funeral, Angelica said in a quivering voice. I feel light-headed and fucking fluttery. I'm afraid I might bloody swoon again. Save your strength, daughter. We will discuss it when you are feeling stronger. Mr. Pierce pulled back the window curtains. Bright yellow sunlight streamed into the room. Angelica blinked, waiting for her eyes to adjust to the brightness. Oh, Liza! There you are! Liza entered the room unsteadily, her black bonnet still covering her head, the hem of her black dress grazing the floor. Funerals are so sad, Angelica, she wailed. The funeral of a fine young man is especially sad, Mr. Pierce agreed solemnly. Would you girls care for tea? I shall alert the staff. They just keep making sure that they don't say that the Pierce family have any people enslaved. They're like the servants, the staff. You know what? It's not even a thing. Just forget about it. It is noticeable. Angelica watched as her father left, her hands folded tightly in her lap. It was a pretty funeral, she stammered, motioning for Liza to sit down beside her. All those bloody flowers! Liza pulled off her long black gloves and let them fall to the floor. She sat down beside her cousin and put a hand gently on her arm. How are you, Angelica? Oh, I feel better now my dad's out of the fucking room, Angelica admitted, covering Liza's hand with hers. He means well, but he can't stop fucking talking about Hamilton fucking Scott. Goodness, Angelica's getting sweary. You mean? I mean with James dead. The word caught in Angelica's throat. With James dead as fuck, she started again. Father's urging me to accept Hamilton. Father thinks it best that Hamilton and I announce our betrothal and fucking marry as quickly as possible. But do you care for him, Angelica? Liza asked. Angelica replied with a pained sigh. Ugh! She squeezed her cousin's hand. Simon's been a bloody comfort these past few days, Angelica offered, focusing on the window. He's been considerate. He's been bloody understanding. Let me finger him in the garden. Sorry. Angelica, Liza exclaimed, unable to conceal her disapproval. I had no idea you were seeing Simon Fear. Yeah, he's paid me visits, Angelica said, still avoiding her cousin's stare. He's been bloody kind, actually. I don't know why you're so suspicious of Simon, Liza. Just because he's a northerner and he doesn't come from wealth. I do not trust him, that is all. He's super evil and it's so obvious. Yeah, I think it sounds a little different in a Kiwi accent. It might come up organically, and if it does, we'll just deal with that when it happens. You bloody wig's riding back again. Gotta trim the bloody fringe. You avoided my question about Hamilton. How do you feel about Hamilton, Angelica? Do you care for him? Before Angelica could reply, the butler appeared in the sitting room doorway. Mr. Hamilton Scott is here, he announced. Shall I show him in, miss? And do you care for him? Simon Fear leaned against the white picket fence and stared at the sprawling mansion. From his vantage point, Simon could see clearly into the sitting room window, like a normal man. How considerate of Mr. Pierce to pull the curtains back for me, Simon thought. A carriage came clattering by, pulled by 2 handsome black horses. Simon bent and pretended to clean something off his boot. When the carriage had passed, he took his place again beside the fence. He saw Hamilton Scott enter the room and make his way to the couch where Angelica and Liza were seated. Hamilton bowed low and kissed Angelica's hand. How very gallant you are, Hamilton, in your boyish way, Simon thought cruelly, feeling the 3-clawed pendant heat up under his shirt. How unfortunate for you, Hamilton, that the next funeral will be yours. And then I shall be the one in the sitting room, bowing low to kiss dear Angelica's hand. Presumably he's masturbating at this point. It's not explicitly stated, but this is a really good place to stop because tomorrow we're going to find out what happens to Mr. Hamilton Scott. Oh shit, he's charging his crystal. That makes so much sense. That's why it vibrates. Also, A+ ancient internet reference. Also, I need to pee. I've been drinking too much Rockstar. But thank you, everybody, for joining me for The Burning or The Betrayal, whichever book it is we're reading. And tomorrow, Mr. Hamilton Scott probably lives happily ever after. Be random if he didn't. Thank you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. Or whenever. Have a good night. Bye. Kakite, 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 ano.